decision isn't yours to make. Don't lie about the way things are. The tall tales will take you very far. Don't scoff when they say it's the end.
Hey everyone, it's Marianne from the New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees. So we're doing our little live today because I am hoping we'll all be taking off on Friday. All of our volunteers are taking off. Our board will be closed until Monday. Hoping you guys can relax, spend time with your family, get off Facebook, cook a little, make cookies, I don't know, all that kind of happy stuff. So before I guess we go into a couple of the things I want to talk about, I need to know if any of you have any questions regarding your forms, your prescription, anything that you need help with in doing. So let's get that out of the way now so that we could move on. Open enrollment does close on November 30th. However, due to the advocacy of our organization, I have something to share with you. While I'm waiting for your questions, let me see if I could share you this page. Share screen. Do we know if the prices are the same at Amazon and Express Scripts? So the answer to that is no, we do not. And the reason being is because they're not sharing the prices until January. We have raised this with the Office of Labor Relations. And today we also brought this to the attention of some of the unions and the people who may have some support, who could support us in getting this transparency from the city. So I do not have that information for you. And it is not from a lack of trying. It is literally, they don't want you to have it before January, which does not allow you to be able to make an informed decision on appropriate medical plans, drug plans for you. I will get you that form in a second, Barbara, so give me 1 second. So on the Office of Labor Relations website, which is here, you can see at the top, it says Office of Labor Relations Health Benefits website. I am going to drop that link in the chat right now so you could all go and read it. When you want to, you can copy paste it now. You can come back to it later. It is going on to Facebook. It is going on to, it is going on to Facebook. It's going on to YouTube, and I'm dropping it now in Instagram so you can see it there as well. Okay. So at the top of this page, it says health benefits, annual fall transfer period. The fall annual benefit program period for employees and retirees is from November 1 to November 30th. Now down here, it says, please note, please note the health benefit retiree applications will be accepted if received by the health benefit program no later than December 15th. During the annual transfer period, retirees may transfer into any health plan which they are eligible, add or drop the optional rider, add or drop the 365 rider, GHI Anthem Senior Care, add or drop dependents, or waive dependents. The next thing you'll see down here, there's an asterisk right here next to add or drop the 365 rider, GHI Senior Care, asterisk. It says, new for 2026, if your welfare fund does not provide prescription drug coverage or Medicare creditable coverage to Medicare retirees, then you're able to purchase either the prescription drug optional rider, which includes the 365 hospital coverage, or the 365 hospital coverage separately. If you only purchase the 365 hospital coverage option and you do not enroll in a Medicare Part D prescription drug plan, you may be subject to a Medicare Part D late enrollment penalty resulting in an increase in your Medicare premiums. Please check with your union or welfare fund or a city non-prescription drug plan to determine if you have a Medicare creditable prescription drug coverage. And you can go ahead and finish reading this page, right? But what I want to do is explain to you that you have an option to pick a Medicare Part D plan on the marketplace and yet still only keep the 365 drug rider through the city of New York because of this new decision that they've made. Now, there is one more thing that we are still currently fighting. They made a rule which is unpublished. It is nowhere, and we're trying to force them to come up with a decision on where this came from, who put it in place, and see if we can push them to roll it back. Will we be able to do that by the 15th? I have no idea. And what is that rule? They're telling us that if you and your spouse or you and a dependent are both on senior care and you're purchasing the drug plan through the city, let's say the retiree chooses to stay on the drug plan with the city and the spouse says, I'm going to go get my drug plan on the marketplace. The city of New York says you can't do that. The city of New York is saying you either both stay on or you both come off. And we say, well, then that's not an optional rider. That's a mandatory optional rider. So that's the fight that we're in with them right now. It's a really stupid decision that they've made, and they're insisting with us it is longstanding OLR policy, but it is also an unwritten OLR policy. So that is now the new fight that we are taking on to determine where the hell they came up with this and what we could do to roll it back. I will also tell you, we did write an email today to Michael Mulgrew and Beth Norton of the United Federation of Teachers, and we are hoping to engage them in this battle because this does affect them as well. As the majority of the people that this does impair is UFT retirees on Medicare. So we want to make sure that you guys know that we did reach out to other people to form a coalition to try to get some backup on this, especially that if it's not a written rule, that means OLR made it on their own, and the union should be really pissed off at that. Because, of course, everything healthcare is for active workers is supposed to be collectively bargained. And if the city decided to make a unilateral decision, well, that would be a problem. So that's that. Now, someone else asked about that form. You want the change form. So let me grab that for you too. And I will drop that form in the chat, but I also want to show it to you because another question came up. Health plan rechart. Where's the damn form? Let's see. Change form. Okay. It is a PDF, and unfortunately, no, it is not a fillable PDF because the city is a bunch of idiots. But I will drop that in the chat as well, and I will also put it on Instagram so anyone here who wants it can get it. Now, one of the things I want to point out is on this form, let me come back here, and I want to share that screen with you. Let's stop adding that one. Let's add the new one, share screen, application. And now you could see this form. And I want to make it a little bigger. And there's one specific part that I do want to share with you. Here we go. So okay, under section G, which is here, the optional rider. I want to make sure you can see that. Yep. Okay. Let me see if I can get rid of that side page because it's annoying. Nope. Can I not? Nope. Okay. So in this section, it asks you optional rider benefits. Check no or yes for optional rider benefits. Now, they're talking here about your drug plan that you're purchasing from the city, which the rate will be $180 a month, or they're talking about 365. And you'll see three different boxes, no and yes. And it says based on union welfare fund eligibility, because if you have a creditable Part D plan through your union, if you have a union, you cannot purchase the plan from the city. You have to use the union plan. So in this situation, if you no longer want to purchase your drug rider from the city of New York, even though this says check no or yes for optional benefits, if no box is checked, it will be presumed that you do not want the optional rider benefits. I'm going to suggest to you that you do click no if you no longer want to purchase the drug rider from the city. And remember, if you're more than one person in your household on senior care and you purchase your drug plan from the city, you either both have to stay on or both come off. According to the current rule in place, that you check off no if you want to purchase your drug plan from the Medicare marketplace. And then if you still do want the 365 rider right here for senior care only with an asterisk, again, you do need to check off this box that you do still want the rider. What that would do then is you would no longer have to pay the $180 new premium for the plan, but you would then be charged the $3 and change a person for the 365 hospital rider. Okay. And according to the city's website, which I just showed you, you have until December 15th now to get this form in. That will be the latest date that you can get it in, even though open enrollment is supposed to close on November 30th. So now let's take a quick check here in the chat. If the city is citing I don't know what that means, Nina. I don't understand what you're trying to say. Citing a UW. Many discrepancies with the benefits change form, even among key figures in OLR and UFT. Yes, I'm aware. Their form is still confusing, and they just don't know what the hell they're doing. I'm hoping the new administration comes in and removes all of them because they're absolutely useless. Let's see. I've been away traveling, and I feel like we are at square one again after 3 years. I don't know why you feel like you're at square one after 3 years. Why would you feel that, Larry? The new plan that we're talking about doesn't have anything to do with anyone on Medicare. So that doesn't impact you. This new plan, the NYC EPPO plan, is only for non-Medicare retirees and active workers. No, Mr. Mamdani has not spoken with us, and we're still trying to work on that as well. But we're not at square one. There's nothing, you're not losing anything yet. So please don't think that that's what's happening. I still use Express Scripts, no problem. And yes, Joe, after the new year, if you are on the city drug plan, you can still use Express Scripts, or you can use Amazon Prime delivery. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Laura. In case anyone missed the updates on CMS Medicare deductibles, premium, and IRMA as applicable rates, here is a link to the official 2026 Medicare Part B. Yes, our costs are going up there as well. But remember, you do get that back, and hopefully we can get this new mayor to pay attention to us, and maybe we can try to get that reimbursement back sooner. Why do people still partake? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Let's see. Tommy, according to reports, Council Member Julie Menon will be the next speaker. Garita wants to talk to Councilman. So I will tell you, we were already told that we were shared a press statement that she, of course, is saying that she has enough votes, a super majority to be voted in. I think it was 36. We wished her well. We did speak to her while we were at Somos, and Councilmember Marte called me today to tell me that we will work with whoever the next speaker is. He thanked us for all of your support in supporting him and calling the council members to try to rally the votes and support for him in supporting our legislation and all the work that he's been doing. So he does thank you for that and says thank you and happy Thanksgiving. But he did want to know that it's kind of bittersweet for him because he was really hoping to be your speaker, as we would love for him to have been our speaker as well. We know that he would have brought some positive change and more democracy to the council. And yet we are now hoping that Julie Menon will do the same thing. And we look forward to meeting her in the new year in a meeting as well to discuss the things that are important to us that hopefully as speaker, she will entertain. So keep your fingers crossed and let's see what happens with that. You're welcome, Eva. Do we still have the supplementary plan? Yes, Barbara. Barbara's question is, do we still have the supplementary plan, Emblem Health, if we change Medicare Part D? One has nothing to do with the other. Absolutely nothing to do with that. And I'm really going to implore that you follow everything that we've been saying. Stick with our lives, stick with our emails. We have never have said if you opt out of the city drug plan that you lose your senior care. We have never said that. So yes, you still have your Medicare, you still have your senior care, and your Medicare Part D. You can waive for your benefit from the city and purchase a drug plan from the marketplace. If you are doing that, you need to fill out this form. Also, for all of you retirees on Aetna Medicare Advantage or one of the other Medicare Advantage plans, and you want to move, you have a younger dependent that would benefit from the NYC EPPO plan, you need to do this form, the one that I dropped in the chat, because you need to put yourself back on traditional Medicare and senior care, and you need to put your dependent on the NYC EPPO plan, and you need to do that soon. So please do that. Carol, I'm sorry, I'm confused. I'm a retired pre-Medicare with a dependent. If I want to just switch to the NYC EPPO plan, what form do I need to fill out? So Karen, what plan are you on now? Because if you are not on the if you are on GHI CBP right now, you will automatically be rolled onto the NYC EPPO. If you are not on the GHI CBP plan, you will have to do a form to change over to that plan. So again, if anyone is on the GHI CBP plan, pre-Medicare or active worker, and you want to go into the NYC EPPO, you have nothing to do. They will automatically roll you into it because they are ending GHI CBP. Okay? So then there is no form for you to fill out unless you are on a different plan than GHI CBP. Okay. But if CWA retirees go with a different Part D, we will not get reimbursed. So Maritzi, according to the city of New York, you need to ask a question of Gloria Middleton, because we believe your drug plan offered by CWA 1180 is not creditable. And we've looked at that plan before. We've made that same complaint to her, and she's refused to answer to us. So you need to call your welfare fund. You need to ask them, I need proof that your plan is a creditable Part D. We've been complaining about a CWA 1180 now for a year. OLR doesn't want to get involved, which then makes it then be the members of CWA 1180 to bring it to the attention of the welfare fund to prove that your plan is a creditable Part D. If they're telling you that your plan will not cover vaccinations when Medicare Part D does, your plan's not creditable. That means you then need the OLR plan, or you have to purchase a plan on the marketplace. Now, if CWA tells you that if you purchase a plan on the marketplace, they're not going to pay premium reimbursement for you for the drug plan, and you get that benefit now, I would then urge you to urge your welfare fund to change their damn bylaws, because they are so behind the times, it's not funny, unfortunately. But that then becomes a union person issue, not a OLR city issue. FYI, in Section G, Jeff Sorkin specifically emailed me yesterday. If I want to drop my drug plan, I should ignore the no and only check the 3. I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to recommend that, even though that is part of the rule. Look, if you look at this form, look at how stupid this is. Let me see if I could make this any bigger without, where did it go? Nope. G. Okay. Let me see what it looks like on your side. Oh, yeah. Okay. You can see that. Look at the way that this sentence reads. The sentence here says, if no box is checked, it will be presumed that you do not want the optional rider benefits. Do you know how many people asked me, does it mean if we check the no box, or does that mean if we don't check any box? And I'm going, oh my God. So I'm just going to tell you, you don't want the optional rider benefit, but you do want the 365. This does tell you if by default you don't check it. In my interpretation, what this sentence is trying to say is if you don't choose yes or no, the one of the first 2 boxes, they're going to mean that is no, you don't. But you still have to check off, like if you still positively want the 365 rider, you have to check that box off. Okay. So I get what Jeff Sorkin is saying. I'm still going to tell you that there's people still that are misinterpreting how to read this damn form because they did not take their language into account when they were creating this form. But I'm just telling you that there's too many people that don't understand that sentence. If I want to keep exactly what I have, and I've been on Medicare for 2 years, retired 5 years, I want to keep everything the same. Do I need to do anything else? Cat, this new plan has nothing to do with you. The NYC EPPO has nothing to do with anyone who's not on Medicare. Who's on Medicare, I'm sorry. The NYC EPPO plan has nothing to do with a person on Medicare, unless you have younger dependents and you're on like an Aetna plan or whatever. Or the only time you would have to do something during open enrollment is if you want to change your drug plan. If that's not you, then you don't have anything to do. If you are currently on traditional Medicare and senior care and you're happy and you have a drug plan and it's just you and you don't have any other issues, then just leave it. If you have a union drug plan, there's nothing for you to do. So you're not giving me all the details here about everything, but I can't say this more than a million freaking times that I've been saying this. It's like for some reason, it doesn't seem to be computing. And you're not specifically telling me if what plan you're on, if there's a drug plan issue, so it's hard to answer your question the way it is. But if you're happy with what you have, you don't have to do anything. Is there a way to compare the exact cost of drugs through the marketplace plan? No, because right now they're not publishing the drugs until January. And that's been an issue we've been taking up with the city of New York. And we also brought up with with the union, because right now you can go onto the marketplace on Medicare.gov and you can look up the drugs on the marketplace plan and you can look at what your cost would be, your deductible would be, and your premium would be. Unfortunately, the city is not letting you do that, which is impairing your ability to make a decision. So no, there is no way to do that. If you're calling Prime and Prime is refusing to give you the answer to that question, I would start calling Emblem and harassing them, because they should be telling Prime that they should be allowed to give you that detail. And then call your former union and bitch at them too, because this is their responsibility, that they also should have allowed you to have this information before December 7th, when the marketplace closes and you can no longer purchase a drug plan. That's where you should be taking care of that. But I'm sorry, I wish we had that information for you today. The city is still, as of last night, arguing with us that they're not giving us that information. What happens if I do not change? Eva, What happens if you do not change what? You're on Medicare. If you're happy with your Medicare plan and you have no dependents, there's nothing for you to do. Again, if you're going to ask a question, guys, what you're giving me in these is not helpful. I need to know, and honestly, to be doing a question like this at this stage when we've been talking about the same, giving you the same messages since October is frustrating. We've been telling you who the new plan affects, who can change a drug plan, where you can get the drug plan. If you have dependents and they're younger dependents not on Medicare, and you want to put them on the NYC PPO plan because you might be on an Aetna or a United or something else, what you need to do. So Eva, please re-ask that question. I cannot answer that question the way you're asking it. What happens if I do not change? I am retired on disability on Medicare. The new NYC PPO plan is only for non-Medicare people. I probably need to do a ticker at the bottom for you guys to see this. Like, I don't understand why this is so difficult to understand. The NYC PPO plan is only for active workers and pre-Medicare retirees. You have to remember something. We are a retiree organization. For the longest time, the fight has always been to protect Medicare eligible retirees. Now, there's a new plan that will affect pre-Medicare retirees. This organization just doesn't represent people on Medicare. We represent all people, whether you're pre-Medicare or Medicare eligible. We represent retirees. We have to look out for you both. So it's really important that you guys kind of keep up with this, because we're not just a Medicare eligible retiree organization. We are a retiree organization. And this is why it's really important that you listen to the message, you read our emails, you watch our videos, because look, I'm breaking my ass trying to educate you all, and I'm still getting the same question 4 months later, and it's driving me crazy. But let's just keep going through it. You guys need to understand this. And if I'm saying this in a way that you're not understanding, please kind of explain what it is that you're not getting, because I'm thinking this is crystal clear at this point. And apparently, I guess it's not. Yes, if you're on GHI CBP, you will automatically be enrolled in the NYC PPO plan. Thanks, Marianne. Feel better for myself, but others are still trying to complete these puzzles. Stressful. I just want to get old on. Trust me, I would like the path to be easier as well, but it's OLR that's being the difficult person, and it's unfortunately our former unions that are putting us in this position. And they're just still not comprehending that either. You're welcome, Karen. UFT non-Medicare retiree. How much is the optional rider increasing? Well, your drug plan is going today from what, 150 to 180 a month per person. And CWA won't answer. Okay, so Marie T, this is what I want you to do. I want you to take that email that you have not gotten a reply to, and I want you to send it to Renee Campion. I'm going to give you her email. rcampion@olr.nyc.gov. There is Renee Campion Campion is the commissioner of OLR. And I want you to tell her, because we've been telling her this since last year, that your union is not advising you that your drug plan is a creditable Part D. And if I were you, I would email that today. Also, hold on, I'm going to give you another email. You can CC them all, because if they're not listening to me, maybe they'll listen to you. Let's see. They need to know this coming from you, a member, that you may want to get another plan. Yet, unfortunately, your former union will not tell you whether or not your plan is creditable. And we believe it's not. And here's Claire Levitt. She's the deputy commissioner. Her name is in her email. They are both in OLR. One's the commissioner, one's the deputy commissioner. Message them both and tell them that they're not helping you. Because they both need to be able... They both need to know that you, as a retiree of CWA 1180, are not getting the answers that you need to know that your plan is creditable or not, which should hopefully give you an answer after Thanksgiving so that you know what you need to do to purchase your drug plan, okay? Hopefully that's the important. Are you telling me that that CWA is not covering insulin? If they're not covering insulin and it's not just that you need a prior authorization, your plan is not creditable. And you need to put that in your letter to OLR, please. And do me a favor, copy us retirees at NYC Retiree so we could follow the conversation and we know that you're doing, we know that we could follow up on that with you as well. Okay. If they're not covering insulin, they're not a creditable plan. That means you need to purchase your plan from the city or you need to purchase a drug plan from the marketplace. And that answers the question. But OLR still needs to know that. Kat, I worked for the teachers union. As a civilian or as a teacher? If you could just send me, like, could you just send an email to the organization, Kat? Because as we're going through all of these, like, I'm missing the nuances of what you're trying to tell me. If you can email retirees at nycretirees.org and email me your full question with all the information, I would honestly prefer that. Let's see. Hopefully the new mayor will take note that his Office of Labor Relations has failed and continues to provide clear, unambiguous language. Well, I tell you, we'll eventually probably have an opportunity to let him know that if he eventually decides he's going to listen to us. Who knows? Let's see. I'm dropping my city drug plan. I was instructed in writing by Jeff Sorkin. Oh, I just must check off current GHI senior care, but the OLR person told a reliable colleague we should not check our current plan because we're already on it. Well, you're only putting on the form what you're changing, right? If you're making a change, just put the change that you want on there. One day, yeah. You already still have Express Scripts if you're City of New York. I've said this a million times as well. You will have the choice of Express Scripts or you will have the choice of using Prime, Amazon. I am on traditional Medicare, GHI Senior Care, the 237 drug plan. My spouse is active and GHI and will be going on to the new plan. Yes. Are any forms required to be filled or her switch is automatic? Her switch is automatic. We've been saying that too since October. People seem to be confusing the new PPO and the change in our drug plan. Two separate issues. Yes, they are. Yes, they absolutely are. In terms of the awful benefits change form and just wanting to drop my city drug plan, what do you suggest in section A? Jeff Sorkin wrote I should leave section A blank. Yes. And then jump to section C. Yes. And change annual fall trans. Yes, that's exactly what you're going to do. I feel for you. I don't know how you do it. I don't either sometimes, Judy. Because I honestly feel like I repeat myself like a freaking broken record. And I don't feel honestly that there's like everyone, for as much as I go out of my way to literally spend day and night educating everyone, posting emails, videos, newsletters. It's like of all of the thousands and thousands and thousands of people that are on here, that they're not doing their homework. Because I shouldn't have to answer a million private phone calls, a million private messages when I'm repeating the same thing. It's just there's a lot of people that don't want to read and do their own homework. We're putting it out there. You need to listen, right? And they're not. And literally today, I had this guy call me 14 times asking me something personally that was on our website, on our Facebook page, in an email, and in videos. And I just don't have the time to help each and every single person on an individual basis. But we put this out in as many places as we possibly can repeatedly so that people will understand. It's just they don't want to look. Have been expressing my discontent about not having drug info until January 1. No one from the UFT Welfare Fund attended the November 20th RTC meeting. Impossible to get through on the phone to the Welfare Fund. And at this point, I mean, it's possible. They're just probably ignoring you because there must be a reason why they're not putting out the information and the union's not giving a statement. What I can tell you is you can just email Michael Mulgrew. He's your union leader, and email the RTC chair Bennett Fisher and email them both and say, why have you not fought for us to get this information? Because you UFT people are like the largest people that this impacts. Your union needs to get involved in this. Is it legal for Prime not to displaying the formulary? Can Medicare hold Prime accountable for? You know, Douglas, that's really a good question. That's really a good question. I'm probably not going to get an answer on that today, but we have someone from that we can ask that question to, and I'll get back to you. Let's see. CEI, Cognition Encoded Immunization, is a theoretical biomedical and cognitive engineering platform that encodes cognitive. What are you trying to tell me, Stephen? I got this link from Prime some time ago to review the 2026 formulary drugs. It tells which drugs need pre-authorization. Take a look at the link to see if this helps. Well, I can't seem to, could you email that to me, Sophie, at retirees at nycretirees.org? And if it is what I think it is, then I will put it in the newsletter that I will send out tonight. I will look at that later. Please email that to the org, retirees at nycretirees.org. Yes, I'm aware Bob Lynn's apparently on the Mamdani transition team. I doubt OLR will start listening to retirees. Well, I'm hoping eventually Bob Lynn will go away with Renee Campion and Claire Levitt. When we compare prices in January, can we flop back and forth between Express Scripts and Prime? Yes. Just some of my projects I'm working on. Give him Mamdani's number. Well, no, that's in the mayor's office, but I don't think those people are going. I think Renee Campion made a deal to stay on. With the new drug plan, is there an option for an optional rider? Really, Brian? Did you not just see me go over? Brian, your homework is to go back and look at the video like 15 minutes ago. I said it many times, even firemen need heroes. I love you, Tommy. Kathleen, I hear your frustration and you're doing a wonderful job in service, but please remember you have a huge fraction of people with cognitive decline. And if someone called you 14 times today, I would say that's a cognitive disorder. If only that was true. If only that was true. That is absolutely crazy. Okay. Yes, you have a wonderful Thanksgiving too. I understand that, James. Laura, Marianne, some of us are listening to every word you say. You are the union Marissa Tomei. Do I need to like stomp my foot on the floor? I mean, come on. And Express Scripts is a delivery service, not the pharmacy benefit manager. The pharmacy benefit manager is Prime Therapeutics. Express Scripts is the delivery, and Amazon Prime is the other delivery. Managers negotiate prices from the distributor. So the PBM is a pharmacy benefit manager. They're the ones that negotiate the drug prices with the drug companies and offer the drugs on the formulary. Then it has to be delivered to you, and you could either get your drugs from a retail pharmacy or from a delivery service. The delivery service with this Prime Therapeutics would be Amazon Prime, which I'm very shocked about because it's an anti-union company, which is very shocking to me that the unions agreed to this, even though they said they didn't, but they should have had some say in that process. And yet still, you will still have access to Express Scripts. And I've been saying this for a while as well. Unfortunately, Mamdani hired Dean Houlihan, who orchestrated the retiree medical steal. Yep, he did do that. Let's see. Susan, thank you all again for your help in keeping us informed. Wishing you and all your loved ones a happy Thanksgiving. You too. Now, a couple other things. Remember, if you haven't already, you need to be putting your information together for your prescriptions. If you paid prescriptions from January 1st of 2022 to January 12th of 2023, you need to put your receipts for those. You need to put your receipts together for copays from that period of time, January 1, 2022 through January 12th of 2023. Put any receipts for copays that you paid in an envelope or folder. We've been saying this for years. We're getting closer to resolving that case where the city owes us $53 million. And in order to be able to, to reimburse you, you're going to need to have those receipts together to be able to get reimbursed, okay? If not, they will reimburse you a smaller amount up to a cap, and I don't have all that data for you ready because we're still going back and forth with it all, but I really want you to try to get those receipts together because it's going to happen, I believe, pretty soon, okay? I showed you the OLR page. I talked to you about the 365 rider, the form you have to get in. If I showed you the website, go back in the beginning of this video, look at the OLR website. It tells you that the form now you can put that form in as late as December 15th, but I am urging you to get that in as soon as you can. We talked about Part G and the 365 rider. We talked about Julie Menon and the lawsuits. So I told you in a very long post the other day that there's the Hands Off New York Care that filed the lawsuit. They're active workers from several unions as well as some retirees, and that they filed a litigation called an Article 78 against the city of New York. I explained that in a very, very long post. Explaining everything that had happened. So they filed that in October. Then just a week ago, there was a group that retired police officers in Florida who decided to ask the court if they could intervene. They then started putting out on Facebook that they were filing their own Article 78. They did not do that. They literally asked the court to intervene in the Hands Off New York Cares case and take the side of the city. Then the Emblem Health, United Healthcare also tried to do the same thing. They put in a request to the judge and asked to intervene in that lawsuit. With that, the judge said, well, we're having a hearing on December 1st. Well, you might as well come and tell me why you think you should be part of this case. But it doesn't matter who's a part of it and who's not. The original people that filed the Article 78, the active workers, have a lot of claims that are pretty valid. And I don't need to rehash that. Go back to the post. It explains all of it. In looking at that, there's information that talks about what the basis of the argument is and what the judge will eventually have to decide. The judge is only going to decide like one thing. It's literally, does this new plan, being a self-funded plan with the city of New York, does this plan violate the law, Administrative Code 12-126? If it does violate the law, there's going to be an issue, and he will probably suspend the plan from going into effect. It has nothing to do with Bill Mack and that group of retired police officers in Florida. It doesn't have anything to do with Emblem or United Healthcare crying that they want the business. Doesn't Anthem filed to intervene? Anthem filed their own lawsuit against the city because they feel that they were wronged in the procurement of this plan, in the violation of the Procurement Policy Board rules, and that's a whole separate lawsuit, which was very similar to what Aetna did when Aetna filed because they wanted their piece of the pie, and they felt that they were wrongly cut out of it years ago when the first Medicare Advantage plan went to the Alliance. So this will be heard on the 1st. So you'll have Hands Off New York Care arguing against the city. The judge will also determine whether or not Bill Mack or Emblem and United can become either an intervener, meaning taking the side of the city as a party, or whether they can be an amici as a friend of the court to add their own 2 cents in. This decision is not going to be based on emotion, opinion, the size of the network. It's none of that. There's really one issue that would affect most of us, actually all of us, is this plan dependent upon the law? Does it put anyone in jeopardy because the plan is self-funded and in violation of the law? And if that's the case, then the plan can't go forward. And the reason why is that the Administrative Code says that the city will pay the full cost of health care up to the HIP HMO for every employee, retiree, and their dependent. Then if it does, they define health coverage as insurance contracts between the city of New York and insurance companies. What that means is that a self-funded plan, there is no contract with an insurance company, even though you'll have like United and Emblem involved. They're acting as administrators of the insurance process. They're administering the claims, but they're not administering the insurance. The bills will come into the city will just pay the bills. That's called an ASO agreement, Administrative Services Agreement, on a self-funded plan. This doesn't have anything then to do with the city of New York engaging in contracts. So the question that the court is going to have to answer is, does a self-funded plan that is not a series of contracts between the city and insurance companies violate the Administrative Code? And that's the problem. So that's the only decision that the court is actually going to answer. So I want to make sure you guys know that that's really the only concern. That argument will be held on December 1st in Manhattan Supreme Court before Judge Lyle Frank, and then we'll eventually get a decision. Typically, he doesn't make decisions that day. He usually gives them to you either later that day or in the same week. And there's plenty of information to come out, I'm sure, with that. And we'll know very, very quickly. The argument will be, because the city is saying that this plan, even though the law says, Administrative Code 12-126 says that the city has to enter into contracts, that a self-funded plan would technically violate the Administrative Code. The judge will have to determine whether or not it will, based on the arguments that the city put forth. Now, if you go look at the docket today, and let me see if I can drop that in the chat as well. Let me go back to page 1. And if you look at the docket, You can read all of these documents. They just did another dump of records yesterday. Okay, so there you go. I also didn't like that Bill Mack wasn't sharing the entire docket to share all of the information with all of his people that are following him on his pages. Why he wasn't doing that, keeping them in the dark like he usually does, was disturbing. But we keep putting the link out there because we know many of you like to read the court docket. Sometimes you guys see stuff before we do. But it's important that you hear the other side because your side is not the only story. Bill Mack's side, while he makes a valid argument that he doesn't have a network in Florida, many people don't have access to doctors depending what towns or counties that they live in. That's not the answer. The city does have a requirement to offer insurance and offer insurance up to a specific benchmark in payment dollars. That's all they're obligated to do. There are other plans that are national plans. The problem is they just don't want to pay for that. But the law doesn't say that they have to. So we'll see what the court ends up saying. It'll be an interesting to hear, what that argument ends up being. SEIU is another union that shamefully worked against protecting union health benefits. So I'm not surprised that they endorsed Menon for a speaker. I might be wrong, but I thought I read that DC 37 had held off supporting Menon, which did surprise me since they've always been a gaga for her. And I'll tell you, that is exactly what DC 37 did. They were trying actually today to manipulate in the press to tell city council members one-on-one not to put their vote in and not to support her. But I will still take this as of two things. One, even though she put that out, she must have know for a fact that she has a supermajority. That election isn't until the middle of next month within the council. Anything can happen between now and then. And I'm hoping that she truly does have them locked in because there is possibility she could potentially lose some. Will she? I don't think so. But I will tell you that Chris Marte did call me and told me that it's, bittersweet. He was really thankful to everything that you guys did in supporting him. He does support you and that we will still work to get this bill passed. It most likely will not get done this year because the speaker is mentally checked out and they're not going to probably push this bill this year, but we are bringing this bill back and he told me he would bring it back in January. So hang tight. That's why I don't want you to stress out over any of this. Anything can really happen. I do believe DC 37 was really trying to work to get Crystal Hudson in there. And I'm shocked at that as well because, I agree with you, your assessment, Laura, in that she did, that DC 37 really had supported Julie in creating that Office of Healthcare Accountability and trying to get her to run that office and expose some of the hospital rate issues. But it's interesting to see that. I also think that that Julie is kind of is looked at as probably what will level out some of the progressiveness of what's appeared that the council will have. It's like in the scheme of things of the NYPD, keeping Tish there to try to level out against, as like a checks and balance, so to speak, what the mayor would end up potentially doing, or at least what people fear he would do with the NYPD. So I think that's important to keep that in mind because that could be perceived as a check and balance of the council swinging way too one way politically and be a rubber stamp for everything is what the perception would be. And she would be that kind of check and balance, more moderate Democrat that might not allow those things to go in so quickly. But that's just a political analyzation of why they would have done that, because the council is a large component of progressive members. But I think this would be viewed as a check and balance. Okay. So I basically covered all of those points. I will put up more information for you in the newsletter. So I want to continue to ask you to keep making sure you're signed up, you're getting our emails, that you are continuing to support this organization with your donations. We appreciate everything that you do. If you are not donating, you should. We still do have 2 court cases to file, and we are still trying to get 2 bills, one in the city and one in the state, passed. And I'd also encourage you to contact Councilwoman Julie Menon, that you read today's news that she will most likely be speaker in 26, and that you look forward to working with her and congratulate her as well. Okay. So hope you can, hope you guys can follow, those short little directions. Anyway, I'm going to go. This is, we're here about an hour. You can go back and watch this on YouTube, watch this on Twitter, watch it on Facebook or LinkedIn. It'll be on our YouTube channel. I will put the link to it in our newsletter so that you guys can follow up on. And I wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. Thank our moderators for all the work that they do, as we're all volunteers, and we're giving all of them off for the weekend. We will all be back on Monday. If you have any issues with the forms, please just send the email to the organization at retirees@nycretirees.org. That's all you have to do. Okay. Make sure you're specific with the message, your question, what plan you're on, what drug plan you're on, what your union is or your former union is, and what your question is. And if you have dependents, because that would also help us make the best answer for you possible. And also include a cell phone number so that if we do have a question and you're not in our database, that we can always contact you for clarification. Yes, November 30th, Sunday, is the deadline to get in that form. However, according to the OLR website, as a retiree, they extended that deadline. If you're making a change, as you see on that form, as we put in the chart in the chat, those specific reasons, you have until December 15th to get that information. Yes, we will continue to try to get those drug costs for you. We have already asked other unions to help us with that, and we're hoping that they will come through. Let me take a quick check on my email to see if any one of them have replied. And they have not replied yet, but I'm sure they probably need some time to look into that. But if we get something before the weekend, we will let you know. I believe Friday, the city would still be open and you might get something from us. But just so you know, I mean, we do have until the 15th if you are a retiree to get your information in. So you guys have a great weekend. Have a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys do something fun and get off your computers for a while. I love you. Have a great holiday, and I'll see you Monday. Ciao.
Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision is in your